This is Fitness Blender's 100 reps abs workout. In this routine, we're going to go through one round of 5 different exercises and 20 repetitions per exercise. We're not going to take any rest, just the amount of time it takes you to move from one position to the next. Now, you're not going to need any equipment except for an optional exercise mat because all of these exercises are body weight driven. Let's go ahead and get started with our first exercise, the reclined oblique twist. And start it up. Let's go and start with that left leg first. Nice and slow, bring that left leg up, reaching across with that right hand, trying to get the outside of that left foot every single time. Make sure that quadricep is nice and contracted, keeping that leg perfectly straight or as straight as you can keep it. And then using that hip flexor to slowly draw that leg up as you reach across, using those abdominal muscles and those obliques to rotate those shoulders and crunch forward to get as far up towards that foot as you possibly can. Now as you relax back down, let that right arm touch down to the ground only momentarily before you start that motion over again. You want to just barely let it touch, keep those abdominal muscles contracted the entire time. You never want to let them completely release before you start right back into that next motion. So those abs should be contracted the entire time, even when you're back on that elbow. And we're almost done. We're going to switch sides here in just a second. Remember, there's no pause, just as much time as it takes you to move to that next motion. Let's go ahead and switch right into it. It's a nice slow controlled motion, pulling that right leg up this time, getting a nice crunch across towards that foot. Remember, you're reaching across that left arm this time, getting to the outside of that right foot. Still trying to keep that quadricep contracted, keep that right leg as straight as you possibly can, trying to rotate those shoulders as much as you can, but this time just using those abdominal muscles and those obliques to rotate as far as you can the opposite direction. And we're almost done, just a couple more repetitions. The last one right here, nice tight squeeze, and let it relax. Let's go ahead and start moving to flip over for the next exercise. The next exercise is the back bow pull and press. So laying flat down on your stomach, arms and legs starting extended out away from each other in opposite directions. Pull it up really nice and high. At the top of that range of motion, pause it for a second. Draw those elbows down to your sides, nice tight squeeze at the same time as opening those legs up out to the sides as wide as you possibly can. Then nice and slow, extend those arms and legs back out, bring those legs together, slowly drop it back down, hover it just a little off the ground, and then start that motion over. Make sure that as you draw those elbows back, that you're squeezing those elbows down as tight as you can, working against yourself with those shoulders, so you're pushing out away from you as well as pulling those elbows down at the same time. And just keep that motion going nice and slow under control. Also focus on those legs. You want to make sure those legs stay perfectly straight the entire time. Contract that quadricep, the front of that thigh, as tight as you can to force that leg to stay straight. Making sure that as you pull those thighs up off the ground as high as they can go, you're not letting that knee bend. That leg should stay straight the entire time. And we're almost done. Just a couple more repetitions. Here's your last one right here. And let it relax. All right, go ahead and flip over onto your back for this next exercise. We're going to be doing a jackknife crunch. All right, so arms and legs extended out straight in opposite directions. Go ahead and suck that belly button in nice and tight. Press that lower back to the ground and then start that motion up, drawing those legs straight up over top of those hips. Then bring those hands up over your shoulders before you start into a crunch, coming up to those toes, trying to reach those toes with those hands as best you can. Then nice and slow, let everything drop right back out. Focus on trying to keep those legs as straight as you possibly can. You want to make sure you're contracting through that quadricep really nice and tight. Keep that leg straight. Also, make sure that this motion is nice and slow under control. You never let those legs drop any further than you can control. If that lower back starts to lift up, then this motion is just a little bit too difficult for you, so you need to either bend those knees or limit that range of motion that those legs go down. Just whatever works for you, just pushing yourself to your limits but not going past them. And just a couple more repetitions. Nice, so fluid motion. Try to get up towards those toes as high as you can. One left. and let it relax. All right, when we stand on our back for this next one, I'm only going to be moving so you can see the motion from a different angle. Our next exercise is the windshield wipers. So again, 20 repetitions, flat on your back. You're going to start with those legs directly above those hips. Go and extend those legs up nice and straight and start that motion. Nice and slow, drop those legs off to the left as far as you can control, then nice and slow all the way back up. Off to the right as far as you can control, and back up again. Just keep alternating back and forth. This hardest version is with those legs completely extended, trying to keep them as straight as you can. If it's too hard for you, then go ahead and bend those knees. If you drop them all the way down to a 90-degree angle, that's about as easy as it's going to get. So nice and slow, just rocking them back and forth, trying to keep those shoulders flat against the ground. That's the key for this one. Don't let those shoulders come up. If you're rotating and those shoulders pull up off the ground, then you're rotating a little bit too far. So just keep going as far as you can, just whatever that range of motion is you can control, and making sure you're keeping those legs as straight as you possibly can for whatever amount of strength you have in that torso. Now I'm going to be showing you the easier version here with your knees bent at a 90-degree angle. Once we hit our halfway point, we're almost there, just a few more repetitions. And you actually have to one more on each side, one more to the right. And let it relax for just a second. Reset yourself. We're going to be doing the second half with our knees bent. Nice slow fluid motion. Knees about a 90-degree angle, just rotating back and forth from there. Same exact motion, just keeping those knees bent. Now the same exact form applies on this one as well, other than just keeping those knees bent. You still want to make sure that those shoulders are flat against the ground the entire time. Don't let those legs roll off to one side or the other too far and cause you to pull those shoulders up off the ground. It's only as far as you can control. Now this is actually our last exercise of this routine, so make sure you're really pushing yourself on this one. Make sure you don't leave anything behind. You're really wanting to focus on pushing to your absolute maximum without breaking form. Remember, still keeping those shoulders on the ground, but try to do the hardest version you can without actually letting that form go bad. And just one more repetition on each side. Back over the right. And let it relax. All right, good job. This workout is complete. You just finished Fitness Blenders 100 rep abs workout.